For so many reasons I can't. And the problem is, oh, actually, there's so many problems with this system for filtering. Yikes. Okay, okay. Gonna have to think about this. So, this is the only ice crusher I have available to me. Now, I can pipe that into something else. And that's what we're going to do. But one of the realities that I'm now faced with is the fact that this right here presently does not, like when I take this out, that is going to equalize the pressure. It's not going to all be pulled into this. So there will still be pollutants in this pipe. Ah, damn it all. Damn. Okay, we're gonna have to be a bit messy in here. But we can make this work. I have made this problem a bit complicated for myself. I'm not gonna lie. Unnecessarily complicated. But on the plus side, it affords me an opportunity to showcase solving a problem like this. I'm afraid that I am going to require you. You're coming with me. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to bring this pipe out and have it exit the base. Right there. Now, I'm going to do that in a moment. I'm not going to do that right now because that would expose that pipe to the chill of the vacuum. And the pollutants would liquefy and then break the pipe and then get out into the room again. What I'm going to need from all of this is I'm going to take the pollutants out, vent that first. That's my first step. Second step is then to get oxygen specifically into my air tank. So you're coming with me. We'll go out, we'll vent this completely, so that pipe will be completely empty. We'll then remove the cowl that I'm going to have out there that's going to suck this pipe empty. Then we are going to have to hook this pipe up to... Oh, it's daytime. Then we're going to have to hook this up to the oxygen pipe in here. Now, unfortunately... And it does suck. But I'm going to waste some oxygen. Well, I could waste very little. Thinking about it. I would be able to waste very little. If I do it. If I do this right. If being the operative word. Alright, so. Operation. Trying to fix the problem that I've created. Is a go. It's fine. I've got enough in there to do what I need to do. Definitely got enough to finish what I need to do. Right. So, first and foremost, open that up. There we go. Pollutant's gone. Pollutant be gone. So double check. It's emptying out. pollutant be gone? Okay, I just need to wait for these to empty. Shouldn't take too long. And done. I think that means it's closed. I'm never entirely certain. Either way, that is now vented, so time for me to pull that back in. And we'll quickly remove that. Okay. All right, let's get inside where I can get some oxygen in my lungs. I'll need another filter quickly before I do. In fact, I need 2 of them. Okay, let's go. Cancel the pressurization. Just let the air in. Right. Okay. Helmet off. AC off. Air off. Filter off. Let's remove you. I kind of want to see what's in there. Also, let's take that out so it stops shouting at me. There's pollutants in here? How? I hate everything about this. Okay, so that's not being emptied in here, annoyingly. There's 7.74 moles. You know what? It's fine. I will simply empty that outside. The reason why, by the way, that it is a good reason why that's got pollutants in it. It's because I opened it up in this environment in here while there were trace amounts of pollutants in there, so they got into the waste tank. It's the waste tank. It doesn't matter. Right, let me get my O2 from up here. There we go. Dunk. Turn this on. Turn you on. There we go. Let's get that filled up. Okay. Typical Aavak, making everything harder than it needs to be. Normal person opens door. Aavak, why should I open the door myself when I could automate it? Proceeds to make super complicated logic to open the door. I feel both attacked and betrayed. Tragically, I do not feel that the statements made are incorrect. Therefore, I have no grounds to feel slandered. Just attacked and betrayed. How am I going to get rid of the pollutants? Honestly, I'm just going to vent these to the vacuum. It's 7 moles of oxygen. I'm not going to sweat it. We're producing more than that. The CO2 is a little bit of a shame, but again, I've got plenty of sources of CO2. Mind you, how many moles are in there? For 0.011 moles of pollutants, I might just let the pollutants back in here. That's like that's 2/3 of the CO2 that I have at my base right now. Do not betray you. Surely everyone already knows this. Maybe technicality, but I will allow it. Right. That canister is good to go. Now, the thing about my welder canister. Where is my helmet? There's my helmet. The welder canister at present contains probably nothing. But let's just... please, no. Yeah, currently nothing. So what I'm going to need to do is fill it with a teensy-wincy bit of oxygen. Bearing in mind, I need twice as much volatiles in there as I have oxygen. Now, the volatiles will be a lot colder, so they'll take up much less room, and they will cool the oxygen as well. But let's just do that for a moment. There we go. 3 pascals. Megapascals, rather. Not 3 pascals. 86 moles of oxygen. That would mean, roughly speaking, I'm going to reduce that. 86 moles of oxygen with 22 moles per volatile ice would be 3 just to equal it. I would like to put 4 in. So I need to reduce that down to 4 is going to be 88 moles. So I'm going to want this to be about 44 moles. We can do that. Now, the way we're going to do that is that first and foremost, evacuate everything out of this pipe. Unfortunately, without a labeler, this takes a little bit of time. Now, if I was inclined, I could use the ideal gas law to calculate exactly how much pressure I would need in here based on the room's temperature. I am not thus inclined, I will be honest with you. We're going to want this to be about half of its current pressure. So let's say 1.5. Just a little bit below. So let's increase that up to about that much. Turn you on for a moment. Again, we're going to want about 44. That's good enough. More or less perfect, in fact. Okay, yoink. Right. In the future, I'm going to want that back up to about 5 for other things. Now, the issue is, again, I'm actually going to fill this pipe with stuff that I don't want in there, realistically speaking. That is bad, but I can always run it out through here. Actually, let's evacuate this entire pipe again, so there's no... I'm not wasting any oxygen because I'm going to repurpose this pipe. It's going to be spaghetti pipes to make this work. I could turn my airlock into a filter system. That's a good point, actually. Have the airlock basically be a scrubber. Not a bad suggestion, as it happens. Huh. Maybe we'll have a look into that. Yep, good enough. Now then, I'm going to break this down. First there. Then here. Now, again, I will be venting certain gases eventually, but that is not my goal just yet. Instead, I kind of need this probably over here, I'm gonna guess. Got 11 pipes. Can I? I'd need to bring it out this far. Okay. I can probably just hook this up this way. What I need is to see... There we are. I'm one too high, though. Could I get you, perhaps, to angle down? I can. Oh, that's the water pipe there.
Hydration critical.
Speaking about water. Right, there we go. All gases that go in there are now going to come out through here. Now, the problem is I'm using this inside. This is not good. The definition of not good, in fact. So I'm going to have to carefully prepare exactly the amount of volatiles that I want. And I'm not going to get a perfect mix. I'll be honest with you, that's just not going to be happening. But it'll be close enough, roughly speaking. Oh, there we go. Do I have water in there? I do, sadly. Not much, but there is some. Wait. Yeah, there is some in there. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to say that perfect is the enemy of good. And right now, I just need good. What? The heck? Why? Oh, no. Never mind. That's the room. Oh, my lord. For a second there, I was very confused. Mind you, there's 35 moles of nitrogen in here, which is an issue in and of itself. Key is that it hadn't fully evacuated the ice crusher previously, so I'm going to need to take care of that by turning this on. Is that? Oh, wait. What I need to do is make sure that that is actually turned on. That way that atmosphere is exposed to the pipe. Now, it's not going to pull out any liquids. It's got separate inventories, effectively, for liquids and gases. The liquids will have to come out through the bottom, and the gases have to come out through the top. So I'm just going to let that vent out what's in here. Again, I've made this problem so many times more complicated than it needed to be. This is not normal. You don't need to worry about this level of complexity yourself. If you just follow the basic steps that the game so very graciously informs you are pretty smart, then you should be good. Okay. Now then, this currently has oxygen in it. I'm going to lose a little bit to everything that I do here, but the main thing is that my suit has everything it needs. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Put it on. Do I want to have a munch? Let's have a munch. have a drink. Pop on my helmet. Right. Let's go outside. Once I get out there, I'm going to carefully count for ice. First, I'm going to open this. I'm just going to pop it down here and let that finish venting. Right. Let's pop that on my belt, actually. It'll be easier for me to do this. Right. 4 items. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll give me about 80. 80 moles of oxygen. Sorry, of volatiles. Let me just double check that you have been completely evacuated. You have been. Let's head back in. Right, this is my spare tank for now. I can go in here. Right. Now then, moment of truth. Everything looks okay there. I need to get all of this in there in one tick before any evacuates into the base. Did any volatiles get into my oxygen-rich environment? They did not. This makes me happy. That's right. Oh. Oh, it's because there's a bunch in there. It's fine. It's basically equalizing the pressure in the two. I might actually instead put that here and have it evacuate into this pipe. Wasn't my initial plan, but plans change. So, yeah. The way we're going to do this, I'm going to just keep my light on so you can very clearly see what I'm doing. I'm using up a little bit of battery, but it's and oxygen, but that's not a biggie. Let's remove you. Very much remove this. No. Want you facing up, like so. There we go. You connecting up there. I know that's such a squirrely path now. Don't think about it. It's fine. It's not fine. There we go. All the moles are where they need to be. Now, if we take this and pop you there, plunk, and now check you. We currently have 40 moles of oxygen in there. Let's activate this. There we go. Let's just make sure that this doesn't get too overfull. It's going to take a while to pull all of that out, unfortunately, but that's okay. You know what? The other thing I'll do is I will actually prioritize getting lights in here. I have forced you to exist in darkness because I like the dark for far too long. Gonna take a little while. A back pressure regulator is not the same as a pump. It is built for slight adjustments. Now, on the plus side, this is actually reducing the pressure in the tank because the volatiles are very cold and the oxygen is much hotter. Though, that being said, the water that's still in the ice crusher is also causing a little bit of a temperature bleed, but it's fine. Hello, son. Ow. Okay, we should end up with about, I'm going to say about 4.5. Maybe 4.3. But it's basically a solid fuel mix. A little bit shy of my goal, but only just. Ever so slightly shy. Almost perfect. All right. Let's turn you off. Remove this. There we go. Job's a good one. Now I need to undo all of the nonsense that I've got back here. So first and foremost, let's reconnect our water. Please and thank you. Done. Secondly, let's... I'm going to want to vent that. So, where's my wrench? There we go. There's a tiny bit of the reason why I didn't get exactly as much as I wanted to, despite, you know, effectively measuring it, is because some of the volatiles are still in that pipe. Our little pipe there is containing the missing volatiles. If we have a look, oh no, really? Did it all get into the canister? Does the canister have some sort? Oh wait, no, I broke that down. Oh, wait. I thought it equalized with the pipe network that was in. That's very rare to get everything out into a single canister, but okay. I'll take it. I will most certainly take it. Genuinely a bit confused, though, which is not the best feeling. This is a game where being confused why something happened is usually bad. With a capital B, no less. There we go. That's all hooked up correctly now. Kind of. Okay, have I got the cowl? Taking that out with us. Okay. Almost perfect, he says, after more or less eyeballing a gas mix to within 1% of the correct ratio. Look, it's all just maths. All just maths. Stay in school, kids. You might think your maths is not going to serve you in the real life, but then you suddenly find yourself on the moon and need to correctly mix a fuel mix out of oxygen in your base and random volatiles that you mined off the lunar surface. It can happen. All right, let's get out there. Technically, I don't need to now evacuate this, but I feel it would be remiss of me not to do my due diligence. That is volatiles. And again, that is an oxygen-rich environment that I have got in that base. Volatiles plus oxygen equal boom. Maybe not as big of a boom as volatiles plus nitrous, but boom. And I don't want boom in the base. I already had everything I needed to take care of that, so seems reasonable. All right, donk. My knowledge of math has helped me greatly in modded Minecraft and Factorio. Exactly. If you find yourself randomly on the moon, I question your choices on Earth. Really? Have you seen Earth? Are you certain about that, Soleil? I mean, to be fair, oxygen doesn't burn. Chat, oxygen is an oxidizer. It's in the name, okay? Oxygen by itself, no boom. Oxygen just makes other things boom sooner. Okay, this is the thing. Oxygen makes other things burn easier. At lower temperatures, they will ignite. In a 100% oxygen environment, the static electricity on your clothes, like your body heat, will make your clothes combustible enough that the static electricity might set it on fire, which kind of sucks. But the oxygen itself is not burning. The oxygen itself is not booming. You could have very hot, pure oxygen in a room, no boom. Boom is fine. It's just if anything happens to be in there with the oxygen, that thing can now boom way easier. And it will, if given the chance. Shine a strong light on a clump of wire wool in a pure oxygen environment, fire. But oxygen needs something else to boom properly. We need to put to bed this misconception that oxygen is flammable. It is not. It just makes everything else way more flammable than it was before. And that is the problem. I want to have a look at that. Yeah, that's fine. Cable coil. There we go. And that's all I needed it for, chat. The amount of faffing we had to do, because I couldn't just take the one down in there and bring it out here, because I'd still need to weld it out here. The fact that we had an ice crusher is what saved us. Otherwise, I would have had to have jumped through far more hoops than you really want to watch me jump through. Way more hoops would have been required to make that work. But as it stands, I now have a means of creating what I need. I don't even need to pipe it up. That's surplus to demand right now. Just having it ready to go is what was important. I also really love the fact that you can hear the welder more if you weld a lot in one spot, because you are creating more and more and more atmosphere around yourself because of the fuel combusting. And so more and more of the sound can travel. It's such a cool little detail. Goodbye. All I saw was the shadow for a moment. Right, how much have we got in there? Down to 3.6. Yeah, oxygen with random spark, but you still need stuff there to actually combust. Oxygen by itself, no, does not care about spark. I'm going to leave that there because I can probably still... oh, that was a bit more of a jump than I meant, but I can probably still recycle that into something at a later date. Right, so... plans. Steel frame, I think, for the insides. All of these frames will be repurposed. This is going to be the wall of the workshop around here. That much will remain. Do I need drill for taking those down? Yes. How much is it to make an arc welder, though? Regular arc welder is made in a basic tool manufacturer and it's electrum inbound solder. I do not have those. And I'm resisting making them, but increasingly I am less inclined to resist. I will confess. I'm increasingly less inclined to resist. We need some steel frames. But yeah, sheep in a car, that's the whole point. In a extremely oxygen-rich or a pure oxygen environment, many things that would require significant effort to combust will now combust extremely easily. Like I said, you know, I wasn't joking. You know, it gets to a point where your body heat will be enough to cause something to flash. Spectral Banner says, just for 2 cents on the O2 discussion, there is a reason we know the formula for fire. Heat, fuel, oxygen. Yeah, the fire triangle. You need oxygen, you need fuel, you need heat. Well, you need oxidization. Something can come pre-oxidized. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Gonna need a couple more. This will be a nice upgrade. Very nice upgrade when it's done. But it is going to require quite a lot out of my little welder to make it happen. But now that we've got that, I can pretty much just create a fuel mix fairly easily using oxygen volatiles. I'll fill the oxygen tank in there to the amount that I require, and then come out here and add the volatiles after. Want another 2. Probably already printed more than that. Yep. That's fine though. Technically, I do need more than 2. I actually want to change that one into a steel one as well, because that one is now going to have a wall underneath it. And that frame that's there is going to have to move over here. So, oh, actually, I need 1 more. Thinking about it. Fair enough. And then we're going to need the ones to replace the floor here as well, but it's fine. Right, going to need a bunch of steel sheets, though. So let's pop the iron sheets there. I will need them, but not right now. Let's go. Right, how's my health doing? It's okay. Well, that's happening then. Let's go and move this tile. Let's pop that back in there. Try and keep things tidy. There we go. That's going to have to move. Okay. Hey, Akira Dragonborn, how you doing? Right. For now, I'm only welding the first stage of each of these. I just need a surface that I can walk on, because the plan is to have flooring here. I'll be honest, I'm probably going to be undoing a lot of this once I come to wiring and piping this area and using chutes, but for now, I want a stable surface to move my devices onto. How are we looking? No, we've used up quite a lot of the field, but it's okay. We should be fine. Oh, I need 2 more. And since this is a under a wall section, this one gets double welded. Same here. Of course, helps if I have the sheets to do that. Just need 1 more though for now. There we go. Right, so these... Oh, that always scares me when I see particles after I put my welder away. Makes me worry that I've left my welder on. I've just shoved it back in my pocket. Okay. Difference between iron and steel frames. Okay, let me quickly show you. I'll pause it for that. Iron frame. So, iron frames. Will it tell me what the pressure... Oh, there we are. Good. So, no, it doesn't tell me. That's a shame. Huh. Well, actually, to be fair, I think if you fully welded like an entire major grid, so an entire block like that, it is pressure resistant infinitely. No amount of pressure will pop that. Well, that's not true. An explosion can. I think. Could be wrong, actually. I'm not entirely certain. I know it can pop walls, but the amount of resources used. So for each iron frame, that costs 4 iron ingots, or 4 grams of processed iron. For each steel frame, hey, Sal, how you doing? We're just going over the specifics of the resource cost of the various building blocks in Stationeers. Sal was playing some City Skylines 2. I actually noticed that just as I was going live. How's City Skylines 2 treating you? I haven't checked it out recently. How is it at this point? I'm completely okay if you feel the need to give a diplomatic answer. But while Sal is considering that, chat, if you aren't already following Sal, please do click on that button so graciously provided there by Lady Shelab and drop Sal a follow. Fantastic creator, super chilled. Very, very good vibes over there. It's treating me better than I'm treating my sis. Your Sims. Right. Well done. Well done. Why am I not surprised? Okay, so walking back a little bit about that chilled creator, very chill will happily set you on fire and eat your corpse if you are a pip. Will murder you with a smile. She'll be so polite about it, you'll almost be compelled to say thank you afterwards. Manaway, I didn't totally start a new game on brutal start because F it, I can do that too. Hey, oh Manaway. I have a little dump of a city while I'm building my resources to build utopia. And who's going to get to move into this utopia? Is it going to be all the people who helped gather the resources for utopia, or are they going to be too unclean? Chat. I think we all know how this goes. We've all seen enough dystopian sci-fi flicks to know exactly where this goes. Any of the people who aren't dead yet. Thank you so much for the raid, though, Sal. I am so glad to hear that City Skylines 2 is treating you well. In answer to the question regarding the steel frames only cost 2 steel ingots. A steel ingot is made of 0.75 iron. 0.75 grams of iron and 0.25 grams of coal or hydrocarbons will make 1 gram of steel. So comparing the steel frame here, which effectively requires 1.5 grams of iron to make, to the iron frame, which requires 4 grams of iron to make, it's just much more iron efficient. Yes, you also have to get coal, but even still, it's just way more resource efficient to use those. Wait, I thought Aavak was talking about Welsh history, not dystopian sci-fi. Photino decay. How dare. But in terms of the pressure difference, again, I think once a tile, like a major grid tile, is fully welded, it is pressure resistant. Like, in all practical senses, it's not going to pop from pressure. I think it can still pop from violent explosions, but not from pressure. The iron frames can absolutely be recycled, yes. You won't get all of the iron back from them, but you can absolutely recycle them. But I tend to use them in certain ways. I like to, have a bit of a texture difference here and there. However, one thing, if we have a look at walls. Okay, kit wall. So, you've got a bunch of different walls. An iron wall is... Let's have a look at just the solid walls rather than the windows. The windows, I think, are a little bit different, but that has a maximum pressure of 200 kPa. The iron window, yeah, actually, they're the same. 200 kPa. The steel walls, however... so if we have a look at kit wall, which requires 1 steel... Now, they require plastic to set them up, but it's not just iron, whereas the iron wall is the iron frame and then iron on the, an iron sheet on the iron frame to make the wall. Composite wall is a steel frame and then plastic on it, but that has a pressure of 300 kPa, so 3 Earth atmospheres worth of pressure can be resisted. The windows, however, and this is an important one, 200. The windows are still, it's a window. It is still... a little bit more fragile. But that is very much worth keeping in mind. Now, I'm going to have to move you over there. Or, well, actually, I could probably have you inside the workshop. Manaway said, also posted a pretty neat but simple atmospherics controller. Got some coding lessons from DC Millie while making it. It's pretty handy, shared it on the workshop. You should totally check her out. I will do, Manaway. Called it Total Atmo Control, because reasons. Fair enough. Right. Now then, let's have... I think at this point we could start moving things around. I've got a couple of lights, though, that I could throw up. Now, I kind of want to do that on the inside because I'm really not doing a good enough job of illuminating my environment when I'm working. So we're going to be taking these inside with us. I'm going to need a bunch more cables, though. I just noticed, like, we're really low on cables. Need some copper. Is all the copper in there? No, none of the copper is. That means it's in here. Yep. My sadness is immeasurable. My day is ruined. Been on a tea break yet? No. As it happens, 7 minutes to go until tea break. Thank you for checking. All right. Now that we've got that done, though, I can start moving some things around. I'm thinking of not having any of the work units on this wall. Having all of them on this wall. I might have a furnace on that wall, perhaps. I don't know. Probably going to move that down there. Also going to be moving the battery down. That's going to be an important one. That's going to be a very important one. I'm just going to have the battery outside. I don't see any reason to move it inside, honestly. Once I've moved that down, I can put a steel frame there. I want a steel frame over here as well. And then I'll probably move those solar panels back. And then I'll leave one gap, another 2 solar panels, one gap, another 2 solar panels. The solar panels are not in the right orientation. I know my initial plan for the base was to run it that direction. So I would have a solid area for the solar panels to line up in that way. On the moon, the sun always passes directly overhead. So there's very little reason to have solar panels that will block each other, but it just... As we have been moving things around, that's what's ended up happening. Maybe at some point I will move the solar panels onto a separate kind of platform, but that's not really my goal right now. I think. Right. Anything else I need to do? Well, other than preparing for expanding out the wall, not really, actually. So I should be good. I'm probably just going to use regular walls out here. We'll have this central area as a double thick, a full tile wall that I can hook things onto. That shouldn't be a problem. Right, well, given that, leaving this here for the time being, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I can more or less work out where everything else is going to go. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to move that again. God damn it. That's kind of annoying, but the plan is have the devices straddle the seam between 2 tiles. And then the next one will be exactly in the middle of a tile. So I am going to know auto lathe will eventually go here. Then I guess the pipe bender will go there. Then the electronics printer can go here. Then finally the tool printer can go here. So I can start by making the tool printer and then moving the electronics printer. Then I'll slowly move other things around. So tool printer. Tool manufacturer. I just need iron and copper. Is that really all I need? Yeah. Wow. Copper. Just want 1. Wait, is that a weather station on the moon? Yes. I'm on the beta branch, which includes the all-new solar storm weather effect. Now, the solar storm doesn't require an atmosphere. In fact, it's worse in a place without atmosphere. But effectively, it superheats any atmosphere tile that it affects. That includes you in your suit. and also supercharges any solar panels. And from what I have seen, that will also affect other planets, not just the moon. It's a little bit worse on the moon, from what I can tell, but, or at the very least, well, it's worse on the moon because you don't expect any storms, so you don't prepare for it, and then suddenly there's a solar storm, and all of a sudden your solar panels have burnt out all of the wiring, and you're roasting in your suit, and the world looks like it's on fire. My first reaction, because I hadn't noticed that they'd been added, was it felt like the sun was exploding. Moon, Venus, Mimas, and Vulcan. I imagine it'll also affect Europa. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't affect Europa and Mars. I mean, the fact that they've got atmospheres means that the effect on your solar panels is going to be a little bit less dramatic. You're not going to be quite as... they're not going to generate quite as much power from them, but they'll definitely heat the atmosphere. Though that does beg the question, how will Europa manage with that? I wonder. Let's go ahead and pop this down. So again, autolathe, pipe bender, electronics printer, and then right here, you're going to want the tool manufacturing. Now, what do I need for you? I need a welding torch and 2 iron sheets. Of course I do. Right.
Hunger caution.
It's fine. I want 4 cable coils. And then 2 plastic sheets. And a screwdriver. Job's a good one. Right, with this I can build a bunch of things that would be useful for me. Obviously I'm going to need to turn her on to be able to do that, but... And in fact, we're going to start laying the cabling for that right away. How do I tend to wire these? Yeah. So I'm going to need to do that just a little bit differently. Apologize for the beeping. But early in these types of games, I tend to use my health like a resource. And as I've said a few times before, oh, that's my alarm saying to go on tea break. Because health is a resource, if you're not spending it, you're wasting it. On for a second. Huh. Oh. How did I miss that? Right. So. Got all sorts of things. Gas masks. Mining backpacks. The Icarus. I believe you get this if you have the game Icarus, which is kind of amazing. I could also get a headlamp for when I'm in the base and it's not well lit because I've been lazy. We won't be doing that. Mining backpack is going to be huge for us. I can also get spray paint to make things better. A toy Luna, our kitten. I believe there's a... I think there are mods that turn Luna into a doggo. Arc welder would be lovely, but not going to happen for a while. Flare gun is super useful, actually. Flashlight, stronger light than the suit light. Also an independent power source. I'm fairly certain it's a stronger light. All right, there we go. Labeler, iron and gold. Also, we can get some better mining drills. Actually, only steel, solder, and copper. We are absolutely going to get the pneumatic mining drill. That is a godsend. And we've got plenty of waste gases that I'm going to be able to use for that. All right, let's get inside so I can stop that annoying bloop, bloop, bloop. I think the Icarus suit was included in one of the DLCs, as I don't own Icarus yet. I have the suit available in Stationeers. Oh, is it? Really? It might also be that I think they all show up, even if you don't have the DLC. I could be wrong about that, though. I will double check. Right. First, helmet off. Suit off. Actually, turn the suit off. Tunk. Recharge the battery. Just because I'm paranoid after our earlier issues. It's fine. Let's expose that to the environment in here. There we go. Let's get all of that gas back in there. And O2 over here is ready to go. Oh, once again, let's just double check. Yeah, we're fine. Just drop that there. Now, a couple of things I want to do. First and foremost, want some proper lighting. Like, really desperately want some proper lighting. The proper lighting that we're going to go for is going to be... More light long, maybe? More light wide. You could have a large round light. I kind of think that looks nicer. Pop that there. And we're going to have another one over here. And that one is going to move over the far side. And yeah, I know. I am so bad with this game. And not eating or drinking. It's a quiet... Well, not quiet, actually. It is a very loud complaint about the fact the game thinks that if I don't eat and or drink super often, I will die. Like, come on. Come on. I go longer without food on the regular in real life, and I do not die. I will confess that I do take liberties with drinking in this game that I wouldn't take in real life. But the food side is egregious. So. Don't. Light. Oh, damn it. There you go. Also, I need to fix the floors where I had to rewire everything in order to, or rather replumb everything in order to get the welder fuel in an emergency. That was such a pain. Can't believe I made that silly mistake. With this though, how about... You know what, sure. Let's wire this up a little bit better. Make sure you're running. Everything looks okay. Light. Light. Look at this beautifully well-lit base, chat. We are blessed. I need a little bit more oxygen in this, so I will set this up for a second, but we are going to sort this out as well. High time. hot. There's so many notifications. Okay, I need to pause for a second. I also need to take a tea break. But first, let's find out what's going on. Right, okay. Hydration critical. Yes. I still don't get all the hype around pneumatic drill. Heavy drill is faster and runs more than 1 minute at max speed. I quite like the pneumatic drill personally. Tacit Chatter, thank you very much for the 26 months, mate. Diolch yn fawr iawn. And Nuki World for the 42. I have the answer. Indeed you do. Also, Vanya Loswin, hello. How are you doing? And thank you very much for the 73 months of support. What were you playing? Why the weird pipe? Oh, the weird... Okay, so before I go on tea break, then, just as a recap for people who've joined post-Welder Crisis, I had an issue with some... Okay, so my welder ran out of fuel, and I'm trying to keep my bootstrap base kind of low-tech. And there's a very conscious choice, and I'm making things more complicated for myself as a consequence. But I'm trying to keep the bootstrap base, the starter base, low tech, so that I'm not inclined to just keep building the base and make it my forever base. Instead, I want to make this base enough to be able to get all the things I need to build a very intentionally designed mega base later. That's going to be my Dwarf Fortress mega project. But for that, I need a couple more things to be possible at bootstrap base. Problem is because I didn't race towards an arc welder like I would normally, I didn't have one when the welding fuel in my welder ran out. I'm playing on brutal, so I didn't start with a massive tank of fuel. I had the fuel that was in my welder, and that was that. The issue there was that when it ran out, I was like, oh, damn, okay, I better make an ice crusher and then set up a little station so that I can put oxides and fuel, volatiles in there and get everything I need. However, you need a welder to weld the plates onto the ice crusher. Now, I had one in the base, obviously, because I'd been needing oxygen and water for a while. But I didn't want to... the issue with that is that my whole oxygen setup, I had nothing in here built to accommodate me making a fuel mix in my pipes. The plumbing in my base was for my air more than anything else. So it required me making some squirrely connections so that I could make use of the back pressure regulator that I'd already built in order to, evacuate the ice crusher, make sure it all went into a single tank, so on and so forth. It was a bit of a palaver. And as I mentioned at the time, it was very much, I had made the problem way more complicated for myself than I needed to. But it was kind of fun. It was fun fixing it. Okay. Anyway, I guess, chat, you can be blessed, and we will do a proper tea break. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the way that we run things around here, while this isn't like an Iron Man mode, if I die, that's it, I'm ending the entire run. It is very much a Iron Man mode in the sense of, if something untoward happens, well, I just have to deal with it. We don't reload because something didn't go our way. But because I like to give you something to look at when I'm away, I will leave the game unpaused while I step aside. And that does mean that if something really bad happens while I'm not here to react to it, I might reload it. So I will drop a save, but that will only be used in the event that something bad basically, is at the point of potentially killing me, and I would otherwise have been able to react to it, but didn't because I wasn't here at the time. Let's get you set up. Get that seed out of you. Grab a potato. We want some food. But I will let you have a beautiful sunrise while I go on a tea break. Because I'll be away for like 5-6 minutes. Because it takes time to make a proper cup of tea. Let's get this down. Blask Sun, thank you very much indeed for that gift sub. That was incredibly kind of you. Deal from Valdiam. Wow, we ate the entire potato. Okay. We plant that potato. I ate that potato. I ate a raw potato. God damn it. Why did I eat a raw potato? Okay, well, I'm going to have to make a partial baked potato to take the taste of the raw potato out of my mouth so I can drink properly. That rate, I scarfed that entire potato in one go. Like, it shocks me how easily I basically just swallowed it. I unhinged my jaw. It was a whole palaver. But now because of that, I can't eat properly. God damn. It wasn't even wet and wriggling. Worst potato ever. All right, but I'm hydrated. I am fed. I probably won't die while I'm away, but just in case, I will drop a save. Dunk. There we go. And you can enjoy the now actually lit base. And hopefully, the sunrise when it arrives. Back in a couple of minutes.